My parents said I was too advanced for school. Then I found the file they hid for 20 years. My parents told me I was homeschooled because I was too advanced for regular school. Mom sat me at the kitchen table and showed me test pages with high scores and said, "See, you're gifted." I felt proud and special. I never asked why I couldn't have friends over, and never pushed when we moved every 2 years. Dad said his consulting job kept transferring him. Mom said kids my age were immature, and I was better off learning at home. I believed them because they were my whole world. When I turned 18, I tried to enroll in community college. The admissions officer looked at my papers, then looked at me. She asked for transcripts, state testing, anything official. I only had handwritten certificates from my mom saying I'd finished advanced math and honors literature. Her face changed right away. She said homeschool records were usually much more detailed. I called my parents from the parking lot, shaking. Dad got short with me and said they'd handle the paperwork because schools didn't get alternative education. They never handled it. College fell apart. I spent years working retail after that. I felt like everyone else got a manual for life, and I'd missed the class. Even small things made me panic. Ordering coffee, making a phone call, talking to a manager. I'd practice simple sentences in my head and still trip over them. I told myself I was just awkward, just behind, just bad at people. But I kept hearing my mom's voice saying I was different, too sensitive, too advanced for most people anyway. By 38, I was married to a patient man who helped me do basic things, like making appointments and asking questions without apologizing 10 times. Then my dad needed surgery. My mom called and asked me to grab his insurance cards from his desk while they waited at the hospital. I went into his home office, opened the top drawer, and found a thick manila file under old bills. On the tab, in my mom's neat handwriting, it said, "Sarah School District Correspondence." My hands started shaking before I even opened it. Inside were letters from an elementary school principal spanning 3 years. The first one said I had been absent for 47 straight days, and they were trying to reach my parents. Another said they knew I was struggling with selective mutism, and that isolation was not a solution. There were notices about mandatory counseling services, copies of certified mail receipts, court summonses, notes about child services visits. My parents had hidden all of it. Then I found the school psychologist's evaluation. It was dated when I was 7. It said I showed severe social anxiety and selective mutism after prolonged social isolation. It said I became nonverbal after a few weeks in first grade and hid under my desk during group activities. It also said my parents refused speech therapy and social skills support because they claimed they were protecting a gifted child from a system that didn't understand her. I had to sit on the floor to keep reading. The next page was my kindergarten report card. Straight A's. The teacher wrote that I was bright, capable, and showed promise when I felt comfortable. I wasn't failing. I wasn't too advanced to be with other kids. I was a scared child who stopped talking at school, and instead of getting me help, my parents pulled me out and kept moving so no one could push them. Page after page showed the same pattern. Missed follow-ups, ignored calls, excuses, new addresses, more silence. Then I found the note that broke me. It was handwritten from my mom to my dad. It said, "As long as we keep moving, no one can force us to send her back. She's safer with us." I read it 3 times because I wanted it to mean something else. It didn't. In one sentence, my whole childhood flipped. All those years they told me I was special, too mature, too different for normal school, and really they were hiding what happened and what they refused to do. I took the file to the hospital. I found them in the waiting room. My dad was groggy and pale from surgery, but my mom looked at my face and knew right away. She whispered, "You found them." I asked how she could let me believe there was something wrong with everyone else when I was the one who needed help. She started crying and said they were protecting me, that I was sensitive, that the world would have broken me. I held up her note and said, "No, you made sure I stayed broken." She stopped talking, and even my dad couldn't look at me. Now my mom is saying I was cruel in that waiting room. Was I wrong?